Them big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
I'm not a hero. Save me now.
Keegan, it's very apt that you're singing that song. And hello.
It's not a real song. Or it is a real song, but hello.
Hey, Tom.
Didn't sound like a real song.
I changed it a little bit.
So,
I sang it beautifully.
So today we're playing a little 2D shoot 'em up called Not a Hero.
That's a well, Tom likes beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
You're a beat 'em up.
It's kind of similar to a beat 'em up, but it's a shoot 'em up. So it's a 2D game made by the same group of guys that made Ollie Ollie, which is a 2D skateboarding game.
That game looked real cool.
Yeah, it's very similar in terms of aesthetic, except instead of skateboarding, you are shooting guys in the face, taking cover, and helping out a mayor wearing a bunny mask.
That sounds real weird. It's Japanese.
No, it's not. But it might be of Hotline Miami if that was more so a side-scroller. So I've been playing a little bit over the weekend. I've been having a lot of fun with it. So I'm pumped for you guys to get a chance to see it today.
Excited to try it.
Let's give it a go and see if we are heroes or not.
Let me be your hero.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Enrique, I love you.
I know that I've always said that I can be your hero, baby. I can
be your hero.
Wipe away. Is it the pain that I can wipe away?
Wipe away the pain.
Yeah.
It should be tears.
Wipe away the tears.
You can't
but
wipe pain away.
Sure you can.
But guys, I've been lying to you.
You're not a frog. You're not a cat. You're not a fish. You're not a man. Oh God.
Largely, I'm not a hero.
I could have told you that. That's nothing new.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So, not a hero. I like this game a lot. I'm gonna start from the very beginning. This is a separate save from mine, just because I mean, once you kind of see one level or a handful of levels, you kind of get the general idea of what the game is. Indie game, yeah, it was originally out on PC. It's out on PS4 right now, and PSN I think it's like $13 right now if you have PlayStation Plus.
We were talking before this how at least I'd set out. You've been looking at a lot of indie games. I've been on indie game kick. I actually posted on Twitter probably a few weeks ago by the time this goes up, saying that indie games is what makes gaming really fun.
It is. I would agree with you on that. Audio, we got that.
Indie games.
Not many. There's no invert y-axis because there is no y-axis. So we're gonna go ahead and start this guy, and you guys can kind of see the story.
Bunny Lord's fan club.
Yeah, Bunny
Good
Lord.
Morning, Dream Team. I am Bunny Lord.
I know I imagine most
There's
things with
not
a New
much
York
going on.
accent, but I especially imagine him with just a.
It's the suit is what does it.
Yeah.
The 22nd of this month.
Is he bad? What's the red on the floor? Is he bleeding?
No, that's a
It's
carpet.
carpet.
Oh, it's the little red carpet.
I really like the aesthetic of this game, so I know that a lot of people are getting tired of like the 8-bit, 16-bit, but like this game is just very well written. Crime, justice. This game is really funny. I've been very much just enjoying having a beer or two and just watching it, the juvenile humor that happens.
Do you think people are getting tired of the 8-bit, 16-bit just because a lot of people have gone back and read? Because I know Shovel Knight obviously is a big one that got a lot of success with it.
Sure.
Doing that, but Undertale obviously was in that style, which is a great game. Your game of the year, I believe, if I remember correctly.
No, my game of the year is Bloodborne, but Undertale's number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
That's close. But do you think it's just because people are jumping on the success of what had happened with Shovel Knight, or do you think it's just kind of everybody had the same idea and like, let's just do it?
It's just easier to
honestly,
produce.
yeah, I think it's just easier to do because you don't have to worry about a 3D paint Jesus. So
Jesus.
you have a few different characters here. So this is Steve. He's the guy who you start off with.
He looks a lot like you.
Yeah, a little bit with if I had a mask on.
Was that a mask?
Yeah, it's a mask.
I thought it was a beard.
Cletus has a beard. So there are different characters, and then you unlock them based off of approval ratings. Is that Colonel Sanders? I think so.
It's a serious question. Is that Colonel Sanders?
I might be. So like the better you perform, the higher approval rating you get, and the more characters you're able to unlock. So
doesn't Norm Macdonald play Colonel Sanders now in the commercials? I believe.
I think so.
That's correct.
So we're going to go ahead and start this up. So this is just the tutorial. So you pretty much have X slides. You have your gun that you can fire. This game is pretty much just kill things. And so in the bottom left-hand corner, you have the goals that you want to try to make with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and that's an execution right there, which is pretty violent. The game is over the top in its gore, but it's also, I mean, pixelated, so it is what it is.
Boom, boom.
And that was a critical hit, so the closer you get to someone, you can do a critical with them. I don't know why that didn't.
So it's kind of like a combination of one of the sort of Guacamelee type games with Meat Boy, I guess.
I was thinking, I can't think of the name of the game. I was gonna say Contra, but that's not the game I was thinking of. There's a more modern
Contra-ish.
game. Yeah, there's a more modern game that I was thinking of that this reminded me of, but I can't think of what it is right
Ollie
now.
Ollie.
No. It's the it's like America versus it's a very American game. Can't think of the name of it.
Broforce?
Yeah, that's it.
And then you also get grenades that you can throw and boom.
Frag out!
Damn.
Oh Jesus! You know, for a 2D game, violence is a thing.
Yeah, no.
Case in point.
So I mean, like, this game is very much just a this is not a long game. I've maybe been playing it for like 2 hours, and I'm already almost beating the whole entire game. So after you beat a level,
I like how it's called the tutorial.
yeah, you get like these.
Throwing up rainbows.
He's a global mega lord, and the worst you do, like, he might be like the Duchess of France or some shit like that. But like, the writing is really funny in this game. Bunny Lord is probably one of my favorite new characters. Just because.
So is he Lord of Bunnies? I kind of.
He's just wearing a bunny suit, I think. So I think he's just a weird ass fucking dude.
Do you know anything about the developer of this game at all?
They're weird ass dudes. I know that the producer is Devolver, and Devolver is kind of like the hero of the 2D hyper-violent indie game. Like, they have Bleed Mother Russia that's coming out, which is a super violent beat 'em up. They have Eater coming out, which is kind of a 2D Dark Souls-y game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have this. But in terms of like the actual developer, not necessarily. So the basic story is there's an election in 21 days. You have to fight crime, and the better you do, the better he is. Like, the more well received he is.
That's Russian. That's not racist at all.
I like his nipples.
Warehouses, we're going to raid.
Kill everyone.
But no, like, the game's just got a very funny sense of humor, because ultimately it's like what 13-year-old boys would laugh at, and I don't know if I necessarily ever grew up past that. Like, from my tiny acorns,
I like the
mighty oak trees grow, and those oak trees.
What was that violent top-down game that was out recently?
Hotline Miami?
Yeah, this is like a 2D Hotline Miami.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking a little bit.
The story isn't necessarily as like weird and fucking drug-induced as that game is, because that game was very much about like the 70s, like drug trips and everything. But there's a lot of like that hyper-violence. So we've gotten 4% approval rating off of that last one. Let's play as Steve again.
From Tiny Acorns.
So do 3 critical hits, do 3 slides, and
3 executions.
3 executions. All right.
So there's kind of a point progress thing to it too.
Yeah. So
do certain things.
So like that's really what this game is largely is. Like, you could probably beat this game like in an actual playthrough pretty quick. But it's really just you trying to get those high scores.
How is it? So going in out of cover, because I know you're able to do that. How responsive is it? Like, is it a sticky one? Or
yep,
is it...
it's a sticky one. So like, you literally just slide over to something and you pop into cover. Okay, that guy's not gonna.
How many times can you get shot before you die?
So you notice in the bottom left-hand corner those red bars.
Mm-hmm.
That's your health right there. So
you get health. You got health from that dude.
Yeah, and enemies will also occasionally drop new weapons. So I got a through cover, which means I think that just shoots people
through
cover.
Real creative name. Go get him! Get him! Yeah. You got to do one more critical hit.
Yep. All right. I can do this.
But so this is, I mean, I find it real interesting that, like, think about the world we live in, where last year, your 2 games you absolutely loved was The Witcher and Bloodborne. Big 3D open world, crazy, weird games.
Sure.
And then on the same system, you can come in and get a 2D game and have just as much fun. Maybe not as long of a game as those, because those things are incredibly long.
Variety is the spice of life, Geek.
I mean, that just shows the kind of, like, the technology is there to do whatever we really want, and then obviously
Well,
VR
that's the
along
beauty of
change.
video games in general, I think, is that you have the capability of just trying to make the best game you can make with the the best graphical capabilities, gameplay, etc. But then, if you want to just make a fun little 2D side scroller, you can do that.
And
too.
honestly, I think something like this wouldn't necessarily sell if it was like a big, super pretty looking, realistic 3D like game. Because like this amount of violence, no one would. It'd be like Hatred almost, where it's just like, what is the point of me running around?
And just shooting people.
Yeah.
So here's a stupid question about that then. Do you think, and it's the same question of like, do cartoons get away with more because it's a cartoon versus live action? Do you think the same thing with video games, where like if you do a cartoony video game, you're more likely to
get
be able
away
to
with
do
shit?
with more stuff than if it was supposed to look realistic?
100%.
know.
I thought you were a douche. I think that you definitely can, because like I said, like if this was in, like this is rated mature and everything, obviously, because
Because of the violence.
Because of the violence.
I don't necessarily think that violence in video games is worse in cartoon-style video games than regular ones. I
Not
mean,
worse, but do you think you can get away with more?
Yeah.
Is the question.
I mean, you would probably get less heat from, like crazy mothers and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, but even then, I mean, you think about it. If you are a kid watching a cartoon with violence in it, obviously there's different levels of violence. There's Tom and Jerry, but then there's also like Happy Tree Friends. So
Dude, Happy Tree Friends, I love that growing up.
So if you can imagine your mum catching you watching Happy Tree Friends growing up, then I would imagine it would be the outcome would be the same regardless. They'd almost feel like you were trying to capture kids, kind of like when they make those soft lemonade-looking drinks that are actually alcoholic.
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I love...
First alcoholic beverage I ever had actually was a Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Mine was wine that my grandma gave to me.
See, that's actually pretty good wine. Mine was a little bitch drink.
Mine was whiskey that I found.
Oh. Well,
but
Tom's definitely the coolest.
I think it's interesting, like, when it comes down to... We talked about this a little bit in... what was that one game we just played with the flying? It's the anime game.
Sword Art.
Sword Art,
Online.
that one. We talked about how, like, different cultures get away with different things, and it's true even within a culture. Like, we all grew up in very different backgrounds. Tom's obviously not from the country. Jordan grew up in a very conservative house. I kind of grew up in the middle, and I'm sure we all have different things that our parents did and did not allow us to do.
Most things were. I was
I
not
could
allowed
do
to
all the things.
So
Be Cletus.
I's got Cletus. Shoots doors open.
It's
shoots to
Cletus.
interrupt.
It's Cletus.
Reloads. He's pretends to be Scottish, so he's a Southern guy who just has a Scottish accent that's very like
I can't
terrible.
even do it. I was gonna try Scottish, but I'm like, I'm just gonna butcher it. So
All right,
I'm
vodka.
gonna try.
All right, so I never really played much of Grease, so kill everyone. I can do
In
that.
under 100 seconds. Finish. Oh god.
I'd actually quite like to hear Keegan the Teds do a Scottish accent.
All I can think of when I think of Scottish is Fat Bastard. Get in my belly! Oh, get in my belly. My name's Cletus.
About as terrible as I
Yeah,
expected.
told you. Told you.
Do you know how I get into Scottish accent mode?
How?
You gotta say Scottish words. So, you say, "Achai the new," or something along
Haggis.
those lines.
Getting haggis. See, I do that. Well, I do that with. Oh, you're dead.
I never actually played as Cletus before, and despite like them all, like the overall gameplay being the same, the characters definitely do, I think,
So,
feel a
is there game overs in this?
No, you just
Okay.
you die and then you restart. Like this game is very much about like the high score aspect of it.
So it's more like an arcadey style game than
100%.
Because I was thinking like when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking like NES style because that's what it kind of looks like. Where you go in and you have like 5 lives and you're done, but I didn't see any lives on there.
This
No.
game does look like it actually fit in pretty well in any arcade back in the day,
Are arcades-
alongside games like.
Our arcade
Oh.
still a thing.
All right, so I got a new.
I would love to open an arcade which is like PS4 in it and like make that as the cabinet and then get like no, never mind, that wouldn't work.
I actually had an idea for a while about starting like kind of a like getting a place where people could just like an
Come and
actual
game?
come and game.
I've thought about that too. Where like so one of the things that I used to
That's
do.
all whenever I talk about this stuff. I helped a guy that ran one of those stores that was our idea to put together when I was a teenager. I'll tell that story after. Go ahead, Keegan.
I was gonna say one of the things I used to do is I used to coach youth sports, and I very much enjoy like hanging out with kids, getting them off the quote unquote streets. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but like giving them a place to go because I know I had places to go, could hang out. The library I went to where I lived had video games, had books, all that kind of stuff you could do.
Oh
and
shit! The streets of Canada, the mean streets of
It's
Canada.
actually New York, but mean streets of Long Island, New York. That really aren't that mean. But I've always wanted to do something kind of like that, where you have like maybe a Wii and a Wii U and an Xbox and a PS4, and then some older games that you can come and just hang out and play in like a living room, where maybe kids that can't get those systems can do it.
Yeah.
The only downside to that is, as we all know, if it's not their stuff, they may not take care of it.
Sure.
So, what's your story, Tom?
My story is, so I knew a guy that started a store in my hometown. It's a very small place, not a lot going on.
Hereford, right?
Hereford is where I was born.
Oh,
The
okay.
place I grew up is called Leominster. And there was this guy, and honest to God, I forget the dude's name, but he started this shop on the high street. And the idea was it was just going to be a computer
Right.
store.
King of
And-
Britain.
Yay! So he was going to make this computer store, which was just, fixing computers and selling them and things like that. But he honestly didn't kind of know what he was doing. And one night, me and my friends were in there, and we convinced him to download a copy of Doom. The original.
Like the original Doom?
Doom, yeah. That's how I'm showing my age.
Yeah,
So we downloaded Doom, and we were playing it all together, me and my buddies and him. And, we started really getting into it, and we found that we would be going into the store to play Doom almost every single night, like after close, and having a great time. So we came up with the idea of, hey, why don't you get all of these different consoles, set them up around the store, get a selection of games, put it on the shelf, and have it as kind of like a video game library. So he was down for it. He actually picked up a bunch of consoles. We had, we have the original PlayStation, which I think was like brand new at the time. We had all like Genesis, SNES, things like that, and obviously some PCs for LAN-based gaming as well. And you are absolutely right. When it is not your stuff, people do not take care of it. They'd wreck it pretty easily with some rage quits and things like that.
Sure.
And people would steal the games off the shelf and stuff because he didn't have any kind of security or anything. He was really like flying by the seat of his pants for the whole thing.
Well, I think it'd be cool. We've gone to VStock, which is a local, well, not local, but there's one near us. And have a picture like how big that store is, having like a lounge section.
Well, they have a LAN section with game console set up.
Do they?
Yeah.
I haven't been there.
We walked past it and we went in for our thing.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
I was not paying attention.
Your focus is not your prime asset.
Yeah.
So this mission, I have to plant a bomb.
You're in the extortion services.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. This, again, story's not too terribly much. The writing is just, I think, what makes this game fantastic. I'll be alright.
You're gonna die.
He's the big boss man, isn't it?
Nah, he's not too
They
terrible.
look different to the rest.
Yeah, they definitely. And so this is kind of like the other aspect of it, is where you have like the different, kind of like the floors you can slide out with the.
And I noticed the things are blocked off.
Yeah, there's certain there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say like a puzzle game aspect to it necessarily, but there are occasional times when, and that's a ricochet bullet right there. Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
There's some pretty creative weapons that are in
Can you
this
shoot
game.
that, like that TNT? Does that blow up if you shoot it? Or is it just background?
So that's just background because those are his bombs, and these are our better bombs that we have right here. So I'm gonna slide through this window. Gonna go ahead.
Is it kind of like a puzzle element to where to go next?
Yeah, I would say yeah, definitely.
Because I'm kind of confused with how you're choosing where to jump and stuff. Like,
Mostly
I see there's
just
a lot of open windows.
where are these windows at?
How do you get down from there?
For there, I think I just gotta.
Just fall
Could you
and
jump
go
out
to
and
the
then
right.
jump in the next one?
The slow slide.
Nice.
I don't think that was not necessarily intentional, but I will take that.
Yeah.
You're about to die, just so you know. Like,
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna just wreck him. So there's one
He's
more
got full
special
health.
weapon.
How did you pick up? Do you get health when you kill them, or is they
it just
drop
regenerates.
Okay. You know, that's one of the greatest things. I was watching a video the other day, like top 5 things video games now do that they didn't always do, and one of them was regenning health.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day when you didn't have I mean, the first Halo didn't have regen health, right? It had a shield, but the health didn't regen. You had to pick up health packs.
Yeah.
How much harder would games be without regenning health?
Speaking as someone who played them in those eras, very hard.
I kind of like them better because it makes you pay
Bloodborne
a
doesn't.
little bit more. Nope,
You're
it makes you
talking
pay
to
a little
Dark
bit more
Souls fan
attention.
here.
Yeah.
He's gonna like that shit.
But yeah, I don't know. Like this game is a lot of fun, and again, it's not necessarily like the most in-depth game in the whole entire world, but it really just is. Okay, I'm gonna sit here and I want to have fun. I want to laugh at some stupid, immature writing.
How long do you think? How long can you play in a sit? Like, could you personally play in a sitting? Do you think you play the whole game in one
I
sitting?
played a
or
good like hour, 2 hours in a row the other day.
Before
I was just like, okay, it's time for something else. Like this is a nice. I've been playing, a lot of other, kind of heavy hitter things like XCOM or Darkest Dungeon, and this is just a nice.
There's a puppy.
Yeah, and this is just a nice alternative to that. So here's an investigator that they want me to kill.
Blonde, 25 pixels tall, lovely pink tie.
Yeah, and there's just funny things like that, like 25 pixels tall. It's just like, okay, that's kind of a cute little.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
It knows it's a video. I love as you guys know, Deadpool's
Sure.
coming out. It may, I don't know when it's going to come out based on when this video is, but Deadpool's coming out soon. And the Deadpool game, the old one, I loved just because it broke the fourth wall a lot. I love when games do that, and you're like, yeah, go do this. Why did you do that, you dumbass? Just because I told you to, type thing.
Yeah, I think there's a point in which it kind of gets overdone. Like Deadpool is one of those where you can get away with it. But
I think part of that's just because of who he is.
Yeah, and Duke Nukem was occasionally okay with it, but free game of Hadouken and milkshake. Sorry, but I think like this game has it strikes a nice balance with it, where it's not constantly just cheesing at you.
Yeah.
But all right, so I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily finish this in less than 45 seconds.
No, you are. Do it. Do it.
This is the finale of the video, so you
Yeah,
have to make it
you
special.
gotta do it. Gotta do it, Jordan. I'm actually believing in you. I'm not tearing you down this time. I believe in you.
I don't.
Okay, Tom doesn't believe in you, but
I'll
I
tear
believe
you
in you,
down.
and that's all that matters.
You can't make it, you suck.
Don't get punched.
I think I did get punched.
Nope, you haven't. Oh, no, you didn't.
Whatever, that's
You
fine.
didn't until that point.
How many bitches get punched?
Bitches get stitches. Bitches and hoes in different
And so
areas.
that's the thing, you don't necessarily need to actually... Oh, I died. Okay. One more time. This level actually took me 3 or 4
Are
tries.
you in Vodkaville?
Yes,
I
that
didn't
was
realize
that was like the Russian funny thing about it. Alright, so I killed him already, that's fine.
It's not racist, is it, when they're when you're dissing another country? It's nationalist.
Well, I think so. Here, I played Cards Against Humanity last night, and as I'm sure, I assume you guys have played that game.
I have
Yeah.
played that game.
You realize how effed up people can be, but how funny it is at the same time. So I did one of the black cards, which is the phrase was something about a hidden room in the Vatican. It's like what would you find in a hidden room in the Vatican or something like that? And it
Children.
no, well, yes, but it was the answers that we got were 8th graders, a big boy, and I can't remember what the third one was, but we're like, we're all going to hell.
Sure.
There's just a couple moments where I play a card and I'd apologize to the people I'm playing with, like, please don't judge me.
Well, that's... You
the
can't...
point of the
But
game.
you win. So, I mean, it's yeah, it's a lot of fun.
The point of the game is to be as vulgar as
Boom.
possible.
And so that was me finishing that real quick. You
There
don't
you go.
necessarily even have to kill all of the enemies. That's part of it too. It's like, okay, like, so this game really is just all about how high of a score can I get, how many times can I replay the level. Samantha's probably my favorite character so far. There is this one girl named Kimmy who's like this Asian girl with a katana, and she just runs around cutting people in half, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
You sound like Power Rangers names. I don't know why. Steve. Well, Cletus isn't. Cletus would not be Power
Steve
Ranger.
Cletus definitely
the
isn't.
Power
There's-
Ranger.
Steve would be the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
And then Dave.
Kimmy would be the Pink Ranger.
Dave.
And Samantha would be the
Neil.
Yellow Ranger.
Who would Jesus be?
Jesus would be the Black Ranger.
Oh, okay. But there's a black guy in this, I think. So what would he be?
God damn it.
Green Ranger? Because
he would be
the previous
the-
Green
Why
Ranger
does the
was.
black guy have
He
to
would
be
be
the
the first
Black
monster.
Ranger?
I
That's
wasn't
what it was.
necessarily into. No, I thought he was the Green Ranger, wasn't he?
No, the black guy was the Black Ranger. Zach,
That's true, but, you know.
and then Tommy or Thomas
Stereotypes.
Dave or what David Frank.
David Frank. I don't
I'm
remember
actually he's at a
anymore.
convention I'm going to, so
the Red Ranger was my
hopefully
favorite.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
Which
I like the White
Jason?
Ranger.
Yeah,
Just 'cause he
Tommy.
was- yeah,
Jason,
he-
you're talking about original Red,
Yeah,
Jason.
I love that you know their names.
So come to
Yeah.
find out, we murdered this guy, and it was photos of his family and a crayon drawing from his child that was in the dossier that we stole from him. So we killed this guy for
Dossier.
literally no reason at all.
Sounds
I
about
feel
right.
like this is kind of shoveling a little kind of preachy message to you at the same time.
In what regard?
In terms of like big business and not that I give a shit, you know, I'm as anti-establishment as the next guy.
Interesting.
But it definitely seems to be like kind of a rip on
What's she doing?
following orders blindly and that kind of.
And doing all that kind of stuff. I could kind of see that. She's Welsh, too.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so you have Jesus, who's kind of a reference to Jesus
Jesus?
from Big Lebowski, actually. He's wearing like the purple tracksuit and everything like
Nice.
that and stuff like. So it's a fun little game. Like I said, there's
Wait,
not
what was the second to last one?
Is
You had
Ronald
two
Justice
names.
Batman?
Ronald's Justice.
He looks like Batman.
The last one is Kimmy, and then you have Clive, who is Clive Owens, pretty much. He's just this guy in a suit with a cigar coming out of his mouth, and he just is. He's like, you know, English. Stanley, I don't know. He's the black guy, I think. Then you have Mike, who's just
Stanley. All I can think of is
Stanley Parable?
The Office. Well, I thought of Stanley Parable.
That's fair.
but
And then
The
there's Mr.
Office.
T back there. So I mean, this game just has, and he's one of the bad guys actually. So those three guys back there are the three main like crime lords that you have to beat. So I mean, this game is, you know, it's you got 21 levels, get the highest score of it, and then you can also on the right there you have like the ratings that you can get through
So-
each of the different levels.
So here's a stupid question. Do you get anything if you... Because I know some games, if you 100% it, they open up like a hidden area. Does this have that you know of? Or is it
Not
just
that I
kinda
know
like
of,
you're just dumb?
but I would assume that there's more there. But I think that, or they might, you know, send through additional challenges or something
Yeah.
like that, like an arcade run or something. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun for $13. It's you know, a pretty solid value. I think the writing and the humor in it is pretty great. I'd definitely say
it's digital only.
it's
right?
PSN, and then I think it's coming out to Xbox One, and it's on Steam as well. So
Cool.
yeah, but I enjoyed it. So thanks for hanging out and watching it, guys.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was interesting.
We should ask our lovely people that watch us. I want to call them Legionnaires because that's what I liked.
It would be Legionnaires, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Level 2 Legion.
Legionnaires sounds stupid.
Level 2 Legion. But anyways, what indie games should we play? What has been catching their eye when it comes to the smaller dudes? Because like I said at the beginning, I love playing small indie games because they're real fun.
Keegan loves small
weird.
things.
All the small things
are in your pants.
One more thing before we go. Somebody in the group I'm in found out who Blink-182 was yesterday, and I felt real old, even though I'm not that old.
Is that when
Blink-182
He didn't know who Blink-182 was, and then
you know how I feel when you say anything.
Power Rangers, Pokemon.
Who are Power Rangers?
I remember when the Power Rangers first.
Me too. I know. I did.
I remember when they weren't powerful.
I remember when they were Japanese.
Super Sentai.
They were literally just Rangers.
Rangers. That's my Zordon voice gone wrong.
Alright.
But anyways.
So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Let us know in the comments, what indie games we should be playing. That would be fantastic. That guy's on fire.
I'd love to play them.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And as always,
welcome to the second level. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Did you guys know that we may not be a big channel, but we decided just because we wanted to create a Spreadshirt account so you can get some merch by clicking the link up here or down in the description. It is level2gaming.spreadshirt.com. Keegan, put the link somewhere.